The Calgary Police Service has charged 3 people after allegations of assault against an elderly man. In early February of this year, the family of a man in residential care approached police with concerns of physical abuse by staff. The man is a resident of Care West Garrison Green in southwest Calgary. The allegations were investigated by the Calgary Police Service Elder Abuse Response Team with the full support of the care facility and working with partners such as Alberta Health, Protection for Persons in Care Office. The staff members in question were removed from duty, and CPS officers worked with the facility to ensure the victim was safe. As a result of the investigation and consultation with the Crown, 3 people were arrested yesterday, March 5th, 2014. Maria Dumo, 36, Angelina Borja, 36, and May Casimero, 37, were each charged with 1 count of common assault. They have been released on a promise to appear in court on Wednesday, April 23rd. I'll take questions.
What kind of?
The injuries weren't serious. They didn't require hospital treatment, but they definitely met the threshold of common assault.
What is that threshold? What are we talking about?
Well, there's a criminal code definition. It didn't involve a weapon. It didn't cause any debilitating injury. Without getting into specifics, because the investigation is before the court.
Any idea of the duration that these assaults took over a span of time?
We do have an idea of the duration. I can't disclose that right now because it is part of the evidence that we presented.
But was it multiple times or a single incident?
I also would like to stay away from that question if it's okay, just at this time.
How is it different investigating this type of assault versus another type of common assault? Is there a difference in the way you approach it?
No, when we're investigating anything, we want it to be unbiased. Our investigators ask questions to get to the root issue and to make sure we look at all pieces of evidence we have at our disposal before we make a decision. In this case, we consulted the Crown before laying these charges.
Now, were these 3 people, was it like do you feel that it was like a group assault, or was it just 3 separate employees who happened to not be trained properly at the jobs, or were taking advantage of this individual on 3 separate occasions?
This incident, these charges stem from 1 incident.
Can you speak at all about what was alleged in that incident? Like what kind of abuse we're talking about?
No, at this point we can't. I'm hoping that when we talk about common assault, you get an understanding that the victim didn't have to be taken to have injuries treated. When this investigation came to our notice at the beginning of February, the victim wasn't in any sort of distress. It was just a matter of us having to investigate the claims thoroughly, which we did, and it's resulted in charges.
How cognizant is the victim?
Pardon?
How cognizant is the victim? Does the victim suffer from any medical?
Clearly I'm not a doctor. The victim's in his 90s. He's in palliative care. Okay, so there's issues surrounding that. I'm not certain what they are. I just know that that's one of the reasons why he's at this facility.
Was he able to give you a comment?
We used statements from the victim to help us investigate this matter.
When the family complained, was it the family complaining as a result of him telling them, or was it the family noticed his injuries?
The family acted on concerns expressed by the victim.
Was there videos that kind of substantiated what he was saying? Or
that would be the same as me commenting on any of the evidence at this point. It's just, that's part of, whether there's video or not, is part of the entire court package. So at this point, I don't want to comment on that.
And sorry, you were asked earlier 2 separate questions, one about whether it was multiple incidents or over time, or 1 incident, as well as the fact whether these 3 people were involved together or separately. So just to combine those 2 and clarify, you're saying that it's alleged 3 people were involved in 1 incident, which these charges stem from?
Yeah, I just had to catch up there to, yeah, you know what? Yes. It's just these 3 charges stem from 1 incident. That's as simple as I can make it.
Is there any indications that there might be other victims?
We have nothing to suggest there's other victims at this time. Elder abuse, like any other crime, in my opinion, is an underreported crime, right? So it doesn't have to happen at a care facility. It can happen anywhere.
Why is it underreported?
Just like any other crimes, there's reasons, there's barriers to reporting. We're trying to overcome those.
Such as?
People are often reluctant to talk about elder abuse because it's very personal. It often occurs, in our experience, between family members,
So,
which is why it's under the purview of the domestic conflict unit.
so in that, along that same realm, how common is this type of investigation for your unit?
This is not common. Okay, and I want to reiterate that we had excellent cooperation from the facility. We worked in conjunction with the Protection of Persons in Care Office. I feel confident at this time that the residents of the Care West facility in Garrison Green are in no danger. In fact, the victim is still there. The family was satisfied enough with the response from the care facility that they still feel he can be properly cared for there.
I know you can't comment directly on this case, but maybe a hypothetical case. What would a common assault charge be? Sort of what would it entail? Would it be physical violence, verbal violence, mental violence? Just clarify that.
I mean, hypothetically, you make it sound like it's an easy answer, right? So it's all case by case. Traditionally, there's different thresholds for different levels of charging under the criminal code. A very easy way to explain it would be there's a charge for simple assault or common assault, and there's a charge for assault with a weapon. So the difference would be I use something to assault somebody, right? So then it's an assault with a weapon charge. Usually an elevated charge like an aggravated assault charge or an assault causing bodily harm charge is accompanied by some sort of debilitating injury. And so those decisions are made usually in consultation with the Crown.
Sir, any idea as to why this particular person was targeted by these 3 individuals?
No.
Can you tell me what role they played?
Well, they're employed by the care facility, or at that time were care workers there.
Were they nurses, doctors, anything like that?
Care workers was the title we were given.
Can you tell us, I know you said he's in his 90s, but can you tell us his age?
No. Out of respect for the family and the trauma this has caused, we're doing our best at this point to just keep it pretty general.
How long had he been in the care facility for?
I'm not sure the answer to that.
And you did say you didn't want to talk about the duration, but do you know how long ago this happened? This year or last year?
I know that it was brought to us at the beginning of February. I think there was a process that started late in 2013, just to make sure that these things were being properly processed. And it came to us in early February.
Sorry, I know you said this was uncommon, but can you give us some context? How?
This is the first time since I've been the staff sergeant of domestic conflict unit that we've charged somebody that was employed at a care facility. I haven't been here a long time, but just shy of 2 years.
What kind of sentencing would these people do? Like how much?
In that depends. Depends on if they have any previous involvement with the justice system. It depends on the offense and the role they played in it. I can't speculate on that until it plays out in court.
To clarify, the incident in question is alleged to have happened in late 2013?
That's a question that I want to be careful not to answer, just because I think it would impact potentially some of the evidence that we've put forward to the court. So.
Is there any expectation that other people might come forward?
You know what? We always encourage people to come forward, and there's a process to do so. There's lots of ways that you can report elder abuse. If the elder abuse occurs in a care facility, I'd encourage you to go to the management team at that specific care facility. We also have, the Protection for Persons in Care office, right, through the government of Alberta and the police. These things are often difficult, like I said, because there are natural barriers like the family members and other things that are common in all domestic assault situations. And so we do our best to make sure that we're connecting with our partners and potential victims to give them a comfortable platform with which to contact anybody that might be able to help them.
What about, sorry, elder abuse, is there any difference investigating it, or what are some of the barriers that might be particular to this kind of situation?
Well, we have a specific team. That's one part of our elder abuse response. We partner with other agencies like the Kirby Center, you know, we look at ways to connect to elders through helplines. Our officers work with social worker partners. This investigation required us to speak to or get evidence from a victim that probably wasn't as capable of as giving evidence as you and I are. So those are some of the natural investigative barriers.
Were any of them previously known to police? Any of the
I can't answer that question. Sorry.